Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast, episode 684. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Mike Sneedy
What's up?
and Tony
Yo,
Korkanakis.
yo, yo.
And Corey might be back shortly. He had to run out real quick, so he should be joining us. He had a kind of a thing he had to go do. So that is why he was on the movie cast. He had to run. He'll be back for the Gamecast. Hopefully, we'll be talking about some stuff a little bit on this one. We'll save the best for last for him, I guess. I don't know. But there's a lot to go over in this episode. We've got state of plays. We've got basically, ho hum news about Microsoft. Uh, so, but before we get into that, guys, what we've been playing, Mike, I have not had a chance to play more of Like a Dragon, unfortunately. I have focused a little bit more on trying. I'm in chapter 3, which is the final chapter of Sea of Stars. But overall, I haven't played too much games. So, but I'm trying to. I'm just going to try to get rid of that game, finish it, and then go into Like a Dragon. But how are you doing on it?
I am in early chapter 4 in it. I'm about 11-ish hours in and level 11 or so also with my characters. I'm actually having a little trouble with it. I'm not that into it so far, which is a little
Is
surprising, but
You're 11
maybe
hours in.
it's a
Has the plot started yet?
I mean, yes, but just barely, and based on what I've seen from promotional material, like
Mm-hmm.
nothing's happened that I haven't known about yet, other than
Okay.
like some specifics that were vague in the like trailers and stuff. And uh, it might be because I'm coming off playing Gaiden and then Baldur's Gate 3, but it
Well,
just
Baldur's
like
Gate,
Gaiden was
Baldur's Gate's draining. It is.
not just that, like coming off that to this combat is like this is the dumbest fucking combat I've ever seen. Like that's how it feels. The early combat it's turn based in this game, but it's literally like press one button to win for like the first like 5 hours of you playing this game. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what the combat is. Press button, win, and but then you'll run into something that's like 20 levels above you, and then it's like you can't win. Cool.
Yeah.
Um,
There's no middle of the road. I noticed that early on in it. So yeah.
So I'm not really. I knew I wasn't gonna love the combat because I didn't really like the switch to turn based back with 7, but somehow I feel like I'm more annoyed with it that way now. Probably again because I played Gaiden and then Baldur's Gate 3 before this. It just the contrast like kind of gets to me. And yeah, some of these games, most of them really do start slowly, but
So
when they start slowly, there's like an hour or two before things start picking up. Like
yeah.
this is like I said, this is like about 10 hours in. I'm to like
Yes, that's
premise
not
basically.
that's not a good start. I'm sorry. Like I know people are saying you gotta give a game like 20 hours. I'm like, no, that's not a good rule. If you can't get a story going, and I'm not saying it may not just click with you. This may be a
Now,
fine story. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying like if you can't get hooked in it within like a few hours, that's not a good sign.
a part of it is on me for knowing a lot of the premise already because trailers they put out were super spoilerific, and I
Yeah.
I saw part of one they put out way back and decided I wouldn't watch any more of them. But still, I knew enough where I'm still just at the premise now, like
Mm-hmm.
that of what I knew. And but it's still fun Yakuza stuff. Like there's still goofiness. There's still
Quirkiness. I
each
saw
bomb
that stuff. Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Um, trying to see if there's any side activities that I'm getting to them that are gonna really click with me. I'm worried a little bit about that too because I know the two big ones that everyone's talking about are whatever's like Doge something Island, which is basically like Animal Crossing, which I've never had interest in. The other thing is the Sujimon, which is like Pokemon, which I've never really liked either. So we'll see if I like those or not in this framing. But the only side activity I've liked so far is sort of like a take on Crazy Taxi, but it's really for like Uber Eats,
Mm.
basically.
Okay.
Which that's been my favorite one so far. And they have Virtua Fighter 3 TB, which I played on Dreamcast quite a bit in the arcades, so that was
That's
good.
always good.
But
Yeah.
so
Would you
it's not
say
it's not bad, but I'm not feeling it like I
yeah?
felt like Gaiden for example.
Would you
Like
say that like Baldur's Gate affected you playing this game too? Like, would you say it's not just like the game itself,
just
or not?
what? Just like you mean just like being burnt out from playing stuff like
I don't know
that?
about not
Or
about burnt out or like combat, the
no,
worlds,
I think combat really honestly like it
because there was more to do in that.
like it's like that Baldur's Gate, like I don't like turn-based combat normally, but Baldur's Gate justified turn-based. Like you couldn't do all that. You couldn't get into the nitty-gritty like that without it being turn-based.
Sure.
Here, I know you could do everything we're doing in this game in a normal brawler, but we're doing it turn-based for some reason, and it's like again, it
Yep,
goes from
that's
dumb easy to hard, and it's just there's just not enough there. And just right after playing Baldur's Gate, it's
I
just like
mean,
why this is so stupid.
I I,
It just feels brain dead.
I just want to say like just I led you into that, and I apologize, but like that was my point of Starfield. Like that's like that's what I'm saying. Like remember how we talked about Starfield and how like it just was nothing. Because I came from Baldur's Gate 3, which you just experienced, and then you go to a game that's like what Starfield is, and you're just like, what the hell? That's what I'm trying to make you understand why we made that like that statement about Starfield, like how it could come across as the game I got the experience of, where it was just a dumbed down stupid game. Like it's just like, why am I playing
I
this game?
mean, the gameplay is totally different, but like it's not a turn-based game.
No, but the
So,
experience of the world and everything was you left Baldur's Gate 3, which you could do literally anything in, and to this where you're chained in. So that was the whole point. But anyways, all right. Tony, what have you been playing?
Uh, Nothing new. Just the same old
Nothing?
stuff. Yeah.
All right. Let's get into Sony's state of play last week. We'll get into the Microsoft news shortly. Obviously, don't worry, we will talk about this. But the state of play last week, I got to bring up the news exactly what was in it. Obviously, Final Fantasy VII's was today. Did you guys check that one out?
Mm-hmm.
So I saw like images. I'm trying to avoid a lot of it like at this point, and the problem is for me, I don't even own a PS5, so it's like I'm a ways away here for spoilers. But I'm just trying to not, like Mike just said about Like a Dragon, see too much. But I have to say, from the images that I saw from this like game, it's holy shit. Like, oh my god, the world looks incredible. Like I
Yeah.
can't even, holy shit. Um, and I guess we could talk about that right now, Tony, while I bring up the other news. But like it's I guess how this is like you said, we talk about it on the other podcast. It's like in our minds, playing this game originally is what you envisioned of that world, and like they're just bringing it to life so
Mm.
well. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah. No, it looks sick. The trailer though today is pretty spoilery. Like some stuff happens. You're just like,
That's what I was afraid of. Yeah, I was like,
am
I
I
stay
am
away
I
from it.
seeing the last boss right now? Is this what I'm watching? Like I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, it looks fantastic. Um, they brought back a lot of the original minigames and stuff, which is always like I feel like Final Fantasy got away from in recent titles, which I don't know why. I know 16 they're like didn't feel right with like the atmosphere of the game because apparently if you're a scruffy grim dude that's got to save the world, you can't have fun while doing it. Which
Yeah.
whatever. I don't agree with that. But yeah, no, they went all in on the minigame aspect. We saw a new one that's like kind of like Rocket League ish or whatever. There's one that looks like Star Fox actually, and I was like, "What the fuck? Did I just see Star Fox in this?" Like, I have
Mhm.
no idea. Obviously, they have like this 3D fighting game mini game, so it just looks like a lot of content and a lot of different variety and things that you can do. And it's not just like the combat over and over again, which is fun because it looks good. I love the combat from remake, but if you're gonna give us a lot of other stuff to do, that makes it fun, and you can get back
Yeah.
to the adventure and do whatever you need to do, and progress at your own pace.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I read some things about side quests. They seem a lot more involving than from the original game, obviously. It's just really cool that they've brought this world to life and then enhanced it to today's gaming. That's the best way to. Because I don't know. I see, like, as we're going to get into here from the other show with, like, Silent Hill 2, for instance, is coming. And we got to see, a little bit, like a new trailer, essentially, but no release date for that.
Mm.
And I still wonder, like, what exactly are they changing in the game? Obviously, the look by itself is going to help that game, but like, are they doing like what Capcom did with Resident Evil 2? Are they doing what Square's doing with Final Fantasy 7? Are they like changing like legitimate things in there, like enhancing it to bring it forward, or are they just making it look pretty? Like, you don't know. I mean, Silent Hill 2 looks, I mean, it looks great, but I'm just merging the news here, just so you know. I'm segueing quite well. But Final Fantasy 7, which is coming at the end of the month, has a demo, by the way, today, right? It will launch today. And you can play that. And I think if you play that, you get a special in-game.
You get like an accessory or something like that, and like items or whatever for the main game, and then you could skip through that part. Then they're not going to make you play it twice because it is like a cut segment from the full game.
Yeah. Okay. So, cool. Nice. And that's always good. That's why I always hate playing certain demos, because you're like, I feel like I'm taking too much of this in. I'm going to have to come back here and play it. That's what every time I do that. So it's good to know. But unfortunately, I'm on PS5 right now, so I can't do that. But that might change very, very shortly. But we'll see. I can tease it.
Fuck up.
I don't know if I want to buy one now because the Pro.
Shut up! You've said this for months.
But like,
you said this for months.
Like what about the Pro in September?
What about the Pro? What about the Pro?
Yeah, I don't know.
You held on to a dying system for 3 years already. What the fuck? Who cares?
Yeah, no, you're right. So I will see. All right, let's get into the other state of play. That was from last week. Like I said, Silent Hill 2 had a trailer. They actually released. They basically shadow dropped a game, Silent Hill: The Short Message, for free on PS5 that day. So you get to play a little game short. That's kind of like PT, I guess, right? That's similar to what they did. So that was shown. It definitely had that vibe from what I saw. I don't know. That looked good.
Yeah, no, right? I'll play it through it at some point. We're still getting through Dead Space. I haven't made like significant progress in that, so didn't mention it. But I heard good things about it, and it's free. So like, you know, if you don't like it, then just stop playing it. It's not like you invested money into it.
Yeah. Let's see. Dave the Diver is getting Godzilla expansion.
Yeah, that's weird, but you know, sure, whatever.
Very weird. I saw that. Let's see. I guess one of the bigger games is bigger. I don't know. Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, new Sonic game, complete with everything you want. There includes a remake of Sonic Generations.
Yeah,
so that's interesting.
I don't really get this, but it's all right.
It looks interesting. I'm not a big Sonic fan, so did it look interesting, Mike? I don't know.
Not to me, really. Like, I don't see like how remaking Generations does anything. But the thing with this Shadow stuff, are they going? It's unclear, but they might be throwing in levels from that awful Shadow the Hedgehog game, which is pretty funny.
That's what it seems like. Yeah.
Because is he gonna be shooting a gun again? Like,
I heard people ask that question. I have no idea.
No, I mean that's a big part of that game. So I don't know. Or gonna fight like the devil. I mean, it's not the devil. It's some guy. It's so funny. The game's stupid.
Yeah, I don't know what Sega's thinking.
I don't know.
This one, it's super weird. And...
It doesn't do much. It doesn't do much for me, but it's interesting. I'll keep an eye out to see if it surprises me, I guess. But
it just feels like they had nothing and wanted something to tie in with the movie, and they're like, "Well, we can remake this game. You know, we haven't done that." It's like, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Splice together some Shadow the Hedgehog levels. I don't even know how it relates to them you know, because that Generations was the one where it's like new Sonic and old Sonic. So it's like, why are you putting Shadow the Hedgehog in there? Like, doesn't make sense. They're not putting like old Shadow the Hedgehog in there because he didn't exist.
Yeah,
there's only one Shadow.
I don't know.
It's one too many.
Let's see, Stellar Blade, which has taken the Twitterverse by storm recently. Let's see, that's coming. I don't know. I've seen it all over the feed. Maybe it's just once you get it in your feed, you can't get rid of it. PS5 action RPG gets a release date. It looks action packed. I mean, it looks kind of like, it reminded me of a Bayonetta.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I mean that's one of the inspirations for it.
Yeah. But you know, so that it looked interesting. I guess I'm not buying a system for it, but if I have it, it comes out in April.
You're not buying a system for anything, so why do you mention this?
Well, I mean, listen, you gotta do things. I had to put a roof on my house, man. I can't really buy a game system right now. But let's see.
Could have though. You could have traded in your Xbox.
I could have. I did not bite fast enough. Now the Xbox value is so low.
That's weird. That's so weird.
I know.
Huh.
I know. Mistakes were made. It's like holding on a stock. It's like holding a stock too long, man. I should have sold. Um, but now I have value of like if I don't sell, I didn't lose anything. Let's see.
No, you lost.
Oh,
You lost.
yeah, I know. But the win is the friends we made along the way, right?
Really? Is
Um,
it?
no. Let's see. Judas. Judas is the new game coming from the BioShock creator. If you didn't know that, guys, so it looks
Ken Louis.
like BioShock. So this
I
guy,
remember
Levine.
I actually I meant to watch this. I didn't watch any of this, but I meant to watch this because I remember seeing the last peek of this. It was like, oh, it's BioShock again. I thought
Yeah,
you would
and
branch out a little further than this,
so
but
this guy
Why
fires
would
like
you
his
expect
entire
that?
studio. He just like launches the entire studio in the sun, essentially, Levine, only to then hire people back, hire new people, and make basically a Bioshock game. Is that what is this? Did I sum up his what last decade essentially?
Did he fire? I thought. Didn't he just leave the
I
studio?
thought he just left.
I thought the
I thought
whole
he
studio
left.
got shut down, and then he let's see, it's Ken Levine, right? It's Ken Levine, right?
Yes, but no, I remember that this might have been shown. I think maybe last year Game
Yeah, we saw it
Awards,
last year or whatever, 2 years ago.
and I was just like, this is very Bioshocky. And just from hearing about it and knowing that he created his own smaller studio to do more
Yes.
some more independent whatever he wanted to do thing, that I'm surprised it's looking like it could be Bioshock. I'm like, why? They would have let him stick around to do another Bioshock.
They would
Sure.
have. Yeah, you're right. They did reform themselves into Ghost Story Games, formerly Irrational. That's what he was with. So he left to start his own company, only to make another Bioshock game.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
Churro has it right.
he didn't.
Churro made a statement. Thanks, Churro. People are saying Atomic Heart instead of Bioshock. No, yeah, they're gonna re-release Bioshock for the 100th time, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, this is like Atomic Heart."
I'm fine with it. Fuck Bioshock. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
like, Infinite was the biggest nothing fucking burger I've ever seen, and the
That was the
media
first one I
people
played.
were like all over that shit, and I was like, this is not good. What are you talking about? And
Yeah.
No, it
fortunately,
was
people seem to have come around in it after a couple of years. We're like, oh yeah, that actually wasn't good. It's like, no, it was pretty fucking
I mean,
bad actually.
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
game was really good, and then Infinite
Yeah.
comes and it just do anything new other than it's like, oh, it's the sky now. And
Hmm.
the twist was not interesting.
No, it wasn't. I
Like,
played
I'm
the. That was
sorry,
the.
that was not
That's funny. Is like that was the first Bioshock that I played. So
really.
on the,
You didn't
yeah,
play
it
the
was.
first one?
No, no. So
Strange.
I went back and played the first one after that, and it's amazing how an earlier game would be so much superior to the game that came out with, just overall. But
Like
that's what it was.
Bioshock, the first one was great, but you just can't do that again anymore.
No,
Like that's
no.
kind of what I felt like with Infinite. So
Yeah.
I hope there's more to this than just like, oh look, it's
No,
Bioshock, but its name is different
I
now.
doubt it. I mean,
I,
I have no faith in this because honestly, I think he wanted to work on something else, but
I,
kind of like
I don't.
with Bioware, like they just paint themselves in a corner. It's like, or Bungie, where it's like,
Yeah.
hey, we don't want to make a futuristic military sci-fi shooter. We want
Yeah.
to do other things, and it's like, but that's all we know how to do. We don't have art directors. We don't have writers. We don't have anything for anything fantasy related. It's like, okay, guys, we're gonna do a sci-fi military futuristic blah blah blah, and then their next game will be original. It's like, sure, man, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Churro. I think Bioshock did get Infinite did get Game
I'm
of the Year.
sure it did,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
But I was one of those people that was like, no, this is not a good game. Like, maybe it's not bad, but it's definitely not Game of the Year material. And then I think, like, a year afterwards, people were like, yeah, actually, that wasn't that good. Why did we say it was good? And I'm like, because
Yeah.
you're fucking dumb. I don't know what to tell you. Like, no offense if you liked Infinite, but
Yep.
fucking suck donkey dick.
All
Well, it's
right.
getting worse. I thought it was just meh. It was all right. It was not memorable really
No,
compared to
that's
the
fine. But
first.
like everybody, like this is like everybody was praising it so hard. Like Ken Levine does it again. Like this game, reaches new heights and does storytelling for video games. I'm like, you should expect, I guess, demand more or better than, I guess. Like if this is what you think peak storytelling is capable of in video games, and I feel bad for you. I don't know what to say.
I don't remember what else was coming out around that time that was comparable. But who knows? It
I
doesn't
mean,
matter. It's
the
just In retrospect, it's just not that impressive.
No, I remember being when you have the ghost. I think you're fighting the Ma, like, or the ancestor, but like you're
Oh,
shooting a
that was
ghost
fucking bullshit.
with guns. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Like, this doesn't make sense at all. It's like you couldn't figure out any other way to do a boss encounter where you fight a ghost. It's like, yeah, but just shoot it with guns. It's like, what?
I remember being really frustrated with that fight too.
It was
It's just like,
annoying.
maybe
It
it
was
is.
annoying. Yeah.
Maybe it
Yeah.
really isn't working because it's a fucking ghost.
Nope.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Dragon's Dogma 2 new gameplay trailer, which I didn't know what that was at first, actually. So, never really played the first one, but interesting. Rise of the Ronin gameplay trailer, gameplay walkthrough. Look at the combat, finally gliding combat. I'm excited for this game quite a bit. I think it looks really. I'm excited for it. I hope it's as good as I'm seeing it, but we'll see. Tony,
It's
you're
so
not.
interesting to me
You're not hyped?
that there's going to be the Assassin's Creed set in Japan, and then there's going to be Ghost of Tsushima 2, all
Oh.
like coming out within the next like year or two, right?
There's no way Ghost
You
of
would think.
Tsushima 2. I don't think it's coming out next year.
I mean, I hope so because it's been a while. But no, I mean, it doesn't look bad, but at the same time, it's one of those things where like I can't get excited for it just because like Mike was alluding, like there's so many now where I'm just like, if it's good, I'll wait and I'll play it, you know. But I'm not gonna actively get excited for it. I'm just like, it could be bad. Like I don't know. Like the combat in a game like this, the combat is everything, and it's hard to tell. You know, if the gameplay combat is going to be good, just watching a video because you know usually those are like intentionally well cut and well shot. You know, to make it look good, but that's fine. Like I need to play it. Like I absolutely need to play it before I can be like, yeah, actually this game is really good or something like that. It's just like, okay,
And this is the Team Ninja one,
yes,
right?
Team Ninja.
So I do worry a little bit. It's going to be like Fallen Dynasty a little bit.
Yeah. I will see. All right. Other ones, we've got the Kojima stuff. Death Stranding 2 coming in 2025. Do we think that's... he's did
I
okay
don't care.
last time.
I don't care.
What about the new action espionage game from Kojima?
This is
Oh,
coming, like-
he said he was working on it. Cool. Nothing.
Yeah,
nothing. Burger.
2030.
He's
2030.
trying to play off that Metal Gear hype that people know
Absolutely.
him for. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna do a game like that, guys.
As we just talked about Ken Levine, Corey, you missed that, how he left to do something in a smaller studio and he ended up doing something like BioShock. So, like, you know, Kojima leaves.
in your
At least
wheelhouse,
Kojima did a game that was not like Metal Gear before going back to a game to do like Metal Gear. You know?
It was
Well,
the
you
walking
do,
sessions
we
of Metal
see.
Gear.
Yes. Yeah.
You do walk. You do walk. I mean, some people love Death Stranding, so good for them.
I have to give it a
Some
shot.
people
I
are
have it in my
into it.
library because of a Epic thing, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
It just doesn't seem appealing to me, really.
yeah, to me it's
in
like
any way.
to me it's mostly like I think personally, like Kojima overall, like he's lost his luster to me personally, just because it's like, don't get me wrong, like I love the Metal Gear Solid games and everything he contributed, but like it kind of rubs me the wrong way that like he's such a snooty like auteur where it's like, oh yeah, I love movies, I love
Cinephile.
movie celebrities, I'm gonna get them in my video game. It's like, what the like, because like the whole thing was it was his idea to oust what's his name Hayden or David Hayter as the voice of
David
Solid
Hayter, yeah.
Snake, and put in fucking what's his name from
Yeah.
Either Southern
thank you. It's like, what are you talking about? He's gonna cost like a fucking 6-digit figure to fucking voice his video game,
Maybe like 10 times as much as the other guy. Who's
right?
doing it for
And
the
it sounds
past
worse.
Ever.
So like, what
Yeah.
are you doing? Like,
Well-
I'm sorry, an actor is not the same as being a voice actor. There is a difference. But no, he
very
just
tough.
got to get his little,
Yeah.
fucking Hollywood celebrity butt buddies that he loves to jerk off. It's like, I don't care. Like, and that's why he's like, oh yeah, I'm working on espionage game. I'm like, oh great, I can't wait for like fucking Chris Pratt to be in that. I can't wait for Jeff Keighley to be in there. Maybe maybe you could blow him in during that game. Like, I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I hope it's good. Like, at the end of the day, I hope it's a good game. But when he goes, yeah, I'm working on this other game, Tactical Espionage, I'm just like, dude, don't fucking say something. Show it to me. Like show, don't tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but he's
I don't-
also
I don't
getting
know.
the movie business too. Like I think it's in his
Yeah,
company starting to do
absolutely.
some movie stuff. So
Fuck him. Make a game.
I don't know. Has any of these auteurs that have left their companies and done stuff on their own, has it ever turned out
No.
good?
No.
Yes. Yes.
Who?
Respawn.
Vince.
Yeah, Vince.
Hello, whatever his name is.
Zempella. He did Titanfall. That game was fantastic.
Titanfall 1 was not.
Sure, but then they did Apex, which they got bought. But again, he left, did a game or two games. I know one game, and then he got bought, right?
Yeah, so...
So I guess it was very short, but it was Titanfall was a good game. The first game was a good game, enough to get bought back by EA, I think, right?
It was a great
Okay.
concept. for
We'll,
sure.
we'll get into that. We'll get into that in a few minutes, I'm sure.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I think we're good. Any other games to go over? I don't think so. I think I covered the big stuff from the state of play. So, yeah, that brings us into. I mean, we could.
Well,
that brings
hold
us
on, real
into
quick. I was really disappointed overall with the state of play because,
Okay.
as of right now, we know nothing of Sony's first-party schedule, really, other than what Helldivers, I think, at the end of this month or something like that.
Yes, we do.
You don't need to try anymore.
What are you talking about? We know the schedule. They got Starfield coming this year. They got. I
That's
heard of
that's the next news. I'm just literally talking about Sony's first-party content.
I know what you mean.
Which
I'm
we
just
have
telling you.
nothing at all. Like, no Ghost of Tsushima 2, no, like, what the fuck are they doing?
No
And, like, even,
Wolverine.
like, what's his name from Naughty Dog is like, actually, we're not doing Last of Us Part 3 next. It's like, okay, well, you know, what happened then? Like, what are you fucking doing? You try to do that bullshit.
There's rumors for the Uncharted remake, a remaster.
But they said that it wasn't going to be them, so...
Yeah, that was.
And again,
what
like,
I
that's the thing is, like, I mean, I guess a PS3 title's fine for a remaster, but, like, I thought they already did, like, the Nathan Drake trilogy or collection or whatever on PS4, right?
Did.
So, like...
They did. But they didn't. I think this is going to be an overhaul.
Well, that's
I
not
think
going to
it'll be a
stop
remake.
them. This is Naughty
You
Dog.
gotta sell it
I
as
know.
many times as possible.
I know.
So-
I'm just disappointed. It's like one of those things where it's like, cool. Like,
Well, you got Last of Us 2 remaster coming. You've got
it's
Last
out
of Us
already.
1. Last of Us 1 needs a
yeah.
turbo edition, turbo championship edition for Last of Us 1. You know, so that we'll get this year. And, you know,
Oh,
that-
it literally is. We're just waiting on Ghost of Tsushima. Jesus Christ.
they're going to remaster that too this year.
No, they already did that,
Just
dude. There's a
watch.
PS5
That's
edition.
that's
Doesn't
that's
matter.
all we're
They'll
waiting on.
remaster it all.
That's all
They'll
we're,
remaster it.
all we're
All right.
waiting on from Sony, which might be within the next
But
2
you're
years.
right.
I would
You're
say.
right. We don't know what they have this year. They did release a lot last year and the year before that, but they do have titles they haven't touched, and you wonder where they are. And we don't have any news. We talked about this in our anticipated. Like, it's very tough to predict because we don't know. You don't know what's
I know.
coming this
Give
year,
me, like,
if
give me
anything.
fucking new IPs. Like, that's the thing that I guess, like, disappointed me the most. It's just been like, hey, guys, remember these awesome games on PS4? There's a sequel or a remaster of it. It's like, cool,
They're
I
getting into
guess.
that.
Question mark, but, like, you can't give us anything brand new? Like,
They're getting into the Microsoft formula. Just remake the ones that work.
okay, all right, whatever. We can get into it now.
What?
We can get into the news now. It's fine.
No, we don't have to. I'm just saying that
No, no.
Sony is doing that same pattern like
No,
Microsoft.
it's not. It's not the same.
No, Sony is complacent because they've somehow gotten a monopoly from someone else getting a monopoly.
Halo made studio
happen.
Halo gets a studio to churn itself out. Gears of War studio to churn it out. Like they dedicated studios to make sequels. That's what Microsoft did in the long run of not bringing out new IPs, always making sequels. You just said that Sony's doing the same thing.
Okay. I mean, so
I'm not saying that the games aren't good.
No, and that's
we're
fine.
on-
But
we're
I'm
on
saying, like,
We're on twos for a lot of their stuff that they made new,
Yes,
like
right.
a generation
Yes,
ago.
but where are we getting the new IPs? But Tony's not wrong with that statement. Like he's right. That's what I'm saying.
Two,
Like
twos are not too crazy yet, but
no,
Yeah,
but
so-
and that would be fine. But like, if you're just giving me nothing but sequels, it just feels empty. And the thing is too, it's like it's not like these are drastic sequels because in my opinion, like Spider-Man 2, perfect example. Like, not a bad game, great game even, but like it's just so much sequelitis. Like at the end of the day, like looking back, and we all agreed upon this except for Jim because he doesn't have fucking PlayStation 5, where it's like, yeah, I mean it was good, but like doesn't hit home, doesn't feel as revolutionary as the first one did, and whatever. And you know, looking back now, I look at like the Horizon and God of War Ragnarok and stuff like that. Like I just don't feel like I'm missing anything out. Like I'm sure those are great games, and if I did play them, they'd be fine. But like it doesn't excite me. It doesn't be like, oh shit, like you know,
Right.
like a
It's
new
like
gimmick. or
Wolverine
anything.
sounds exciting because that's something different Like it maybe it's more Spider-Man.
Is
but at
it?
least
I don't know. I don't know. We'll
like,
see.
for me, it's
Like,
exciting because like I think it's a different character, and they said it's going to be
Yeah.
a more mature take on it. So like
Ugh.
I would be more excited for that than Spider-Man 3.
sure.
That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely more excited for that than a Venom
Or-
spinoff, which
or
we have to
Venom
wait
even,
for
yeah.
first.
So-
Yeah.
Or more Ratchet and Clank, you know.
There's a lot. I mean, that would be nice. There's some lesser used IPs which would be cool to go back into. But then there's also,
I mean,
like you said, new
again,
stuff.
like you said,
new
we
stuff.
don't need to bring stuff back. Like you can create new things, and it can be good.
Yeah. So, all right. Other news. We have Suicide Squad's out, getting weird reviews.
No, it's
that's
getting
not-
bad reviews, not weird reviews. It's just bad. It's just
Overall bad. There's
53.
some weird outliers. It's like
weird outliers.
Outliers.
I saw an
Otherwise,
85.
overall
My
bad.
point was I saw an 85, and I'm not sure how you give a game like that an 85. But
I don't really care about that.
Well, it's you,
subjective.
Jim. It's you. After the alpha, you liked what you played in the alpha. Like the gameplay itself is
I
pretty
thought you
good for
both
what
liked the alpha.
trying to do.
I thought you both liked the
Yeah.
alpha.
I thought it was better than expected, but I also I told you like the
You're
general
guarded.
feeling
you were
it
guarded.
gave me was sad that it's not doing what I want it to do.
Yeah. Anyway,
And
its
that's what it
concurrent
seems to
users
be.
and Steam are no, it's not everything, but it's fucking shit. It's debuted lower than Like a Dragon. It's debuted lower than Persona 3 Reloaded, and it's debuted lower than Tekken 8. So
Yeah. Those all had great debuts. Like their numbers were the
absolutely.
best they've ever had.
Yeah.
So, good for
No,
them.
I expected it to be like a 73 or something, and it's like a
I
62
don't know why you did.
or 3.
It's up to a 63 now. Mike.
Yeah.
63.
So
So it's less. It's lower than Avengers, which I believe you made a bold prediction that'd be better. So you lost a bold prediction, I believe.
I guess so. Did I do that? I don't know. Maybe.
I'm fairly certain. That's why I posted it on the chat. I was like, I think he said something like that, but we'll go back and see it at the end of the year. At beginning of next year, we'll see. So, all right. So other news this week, I guess it's ongoing, and that's the big news of the week right now is Microsoft. Microsoft is on fire. I guess is the best way to say it right now. On fire on the internet, I believe.
In
So
a
it
bad
was-
way, not a good way.
No, yeah, I'm sorry. Not in the
Not-
NBA
not
Jam.
from downtown.
Not in the NBA Jam style. They are a burning dumpster right now, and no direction, no help from Phil, who just comes out and says, "Oh, we hear you and we're listening."
Okay, well, you're getting ahead of yourself. Just come out with a fucking rumor.
But-
Just say it.
The rumor is that Xbox games will be coming to other platforms, not just like PS5, but Switch as well. Starting, it seems like, with Starfield as one of the big games that was announced, and also obviously Hi-Fi Rush, which I think we knew about that was coming. We've heard that one.
Rumored.
We've heard about it a few times, but I've seen Hi-Fi Rush a few times. But Starfield was the big drop that we saw, and when that hit, apparently, like that's when other legitimate media outlets started tacking on things that they've heard. Like, oh, we've heard that a lot of all of the games are coming. Gears of War, Halo. The list has just expanded. Forza. So that's what's been coming out there in the world, and obviously Microsoft's been whisper quiet, not trying to correct the rumors whatsoever, not saying this is a flat out lie.
Right. So just for full clarification, context here. This news broke over the weekend, right? And you don't expect people to work during the weekend, and I get that. So people just ran with it, but there was no PR, there was no control. And come yesterday, which was Monday, Phil just goes, "We hear you, we're listening, and next week we're gonna have something." And I just cannot believe you botched this so bad, where it's like you have potentially the worst rumor since the fucking Xbox One debacle.
Yeah,
and you're like,
if you're an Xbox fan, if you're an Xbox fan, Xbox owner, Game Pass subscriber, this is like your worst
I'm an
nightmare.
Xbox owner, and it's not my worst nightmare.
What do you mean? It's like there's no. They just basically took all of your loyalty and just flushed it down the toilet. And it's like
we don't know the details from it now. Even if I'm fine with it if it comes out a year later.
So now that's what I'm saying. We don't know the details, and that's what Tony is saying. We don't know the details. Like, we'll talk about it later. You guys just speculate in the corner over there, and like,
I'm not speculating. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm fine with this.
The internet
right now.
is, Jim. What is,
I know they are
individually, but I'm saying everyone else is. Like
But this is damning. Like this is what happens. Like we remember. Sorry to cut you off, but we remember when the whole thing was like, oh, because Microsoft tried to fuck everybody back then, right? They were ahead of the game. They're like, we're gonna fuck you guys. You can't share games anymore. People like they lost that entire generation with that fucking video that Sony put out. Whereas this is how you share a game with a friend on PlayStation 4, and it was literally just hand them the disc. They never recovered from that because they didn't control the messaging. And even after the system released, even after they walked that back, people still consider that truth. People are like, oh, I'm not, like, I've heard that at GameStop before, where people were like, I'm not getting Xbox One, you can't share that with friends. It's like, actually, you can, but Microsoft fucked the messaging up so bad, they never recovered from that.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's happening right now.
Average dad that doesn't know much about that stuff, they hear something from somebody, and they just, think it's true, and they don't get all the information, so they think, oh, Microsoft's like not letting you share your games, so don't buy Microsoft stuff. Or now, like all Microsoft's games are going to be on PlayStation, so it doesn't matter. You guys get PlayStation.
That's what's out there. I got pictures of people.
It doesn't matter if it's true
systems.
or not. It's going to be true for people that don't know any better.
Well, that's the thing. Like you can see the internet exploding right now with like them trading in game systems, and people are posting receipts online of their trade-ins. You got people canceling their Game Pass subscriptions like crazy, from what I understand. Influencers that are showing stuff for them have like disowned Microsoft for their games. I don't know how, as a regular person, how do you let it go that far without getting a confirmation?
Well, the thing is, they've never said that none of this is untrue.
That's true. So Phil's reaction.
So you would think they would put the kibosh on it to stop that. The fact that they've just been like, yeah, we're listening.
No,
but we have something to tell you.
Right, because at least last year,
to me, like all of this is happening. So
they're doing this.
Right, because
I don't. So I mean, I don't blame people for being like, oh, I guess exclusives are not going to exist anymore on the Xbox because that's what it looks like.
Right, and last year when we had the Microsoft breaches or leaks or whatever like that, Phil came out and was like, I think is like those were plans at some point, but those are not the current ones. And I'm just sad that this got out, right? Because like we've seen with the Naughty Dog or Insomniac stuff, like yes, they have different plans. It's just which one will make it through to see on the consumer end of things.
Constantly changing.
It's constantly changing. It's not meant for our eyes. But the fact that he's saying like, "Oh, stay tuned next week. We're listening." It's like that is so bad. Like it's almost better if he didn't say anything at all, in my opinion. Like just
keep playing Diablo. Phil.
That's what I was getting to. That's what I was getting to. Just I keep playing Diablo 4. That's what I was getting to, Tony. I'm like, him coming out saying it and not denying it, not saying flat out this is not true. It's true then. You just confirmed it by making your statement. So I mean, it is what it is. Like, I as a company, like I get what they're thinking. Like, there's a lot of money to be had. As a platform that you've been building, it hurts. It hurts people. Like, obviously, you've built a fan base. However, that fan base, like this time around, like it's been dwindling. Don't get me wrong. Your sales have been down, but you still have that fan base, and you've just alienated who knows how many people, just on this news. And especially if you do this, because like you said, Tony, like no matter what the right message is coming out, if this news is even like partly true, let's say best case, this is what I'm thinking is going to happen next week. I'm going to make a prediction on this episode, and let me know what you guys think is normal. Xbox games will release day one on Game Pass on the Xbox for 1 year, and then we'll release on the PS5 a year, like Halo will be on the PS5 a year later. That's what I think is happening here. Does it make the messaging any better knowing this? Because it doesn't matter at this point. Either way, people are already hearing, oh, I'm not going to buy the Xbox because they don't have any exclusives. Does it make it better, though, if you're just a sane person and you're not automatically jumping to conclusions like this, though? Not sane, but, like you said, people think Xbox One, you can't loan a game anymore. You already know this. Already.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be better, right? Because at least then they'd be like, okay, well, there's value in the Game Pass.
It's up to messaging. And
right,
it's up to messaging.
Absolutely. It's communication.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because, Microsoft, out of all the brands, I feel like has really touted themselves, especially since Phil took over, that they're like, your bro, they're your friend, right? It's like, whoa, look at us. We have gaming tattoos. And you could see, you can add my gamer tag and see my avatar. It's like, no, you're a fucking $1 trillion
T-shirt on stage.
Exactly. It's like you're a fucking $1 trillion company. Stop acting like you're one of us. You are the elite. You're the top 0.1%. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
There's literally $2 trillion company. Like there are $3 trillion companies in the world right now. It's
right.
Apple and Microsoft.
Yeah, exactly. So you're one of them. So don't try to act like you're on our level. We are worlds apart in terms of expectations and everything like that. So yeah, I mean that's bad from Phil, and I think right because like the thing is too is like Xbox is so down, right? Like, and I hate to pick on them, but it's like the fan base dwindled, right? They're
already
pacing
was
behind Xbox One right now, which is fucking god awful, right? You think like how could you have gotten worse when Xbox One literally fucked up from day one? Like not even before it got out of the gate, they fucking stumbled. So this happened. You have any of your loyalists that are just like really like angry. They're up in arms. They're trading their systems. They're doing whatever. They're tweeting on social media or posting on Reddit and stuff like that, and just getting out of hand because like this is the ship sinking. This is the house is on fire, and for the leader of that ship, the owner of that house, to be like, "Stay tuned next week. We have more information for you." It's just like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? This is what you get paid for. Like this is what you get paid for.
Yeah, there's that image with him playing Diablo 4 as their world is burning, and he's just he's playing a video game.
Right.
I mean,
what else is he supposed to do?
I mean, he can make a
do something.
Make a statement.
At some point, you need to get in front of things. You need to start
like you said.
controlling.
It sort of gives me the same vibe
Don't be
about
reactive.
When people
be proactive.
Barack Obama went golfing once. I don't know about that, but
no, but at the same time, like you need to start to let people know, like. Just saying we're listening. What are you listening to? Like what this? Like you knew this is something that's coming.
We're listening to your screams and cries for help. And
we have like you have this coming out. It leaked, right? So there's a plan. There is a plan there, and now it's leaked. And now you have a reaction to this plan that you had. So either you stick to your plan and you just come out with it, or you pivot. And if you're pivoting, you need to make sure that pivot's happening quick so you can get in front of it before. Like it's too late, where it doesn't necessarily matter anymore.
And you, Tony, you started off saying like this news came out over the weekend, right? It doesn't matter. These people make millions and millions of dollars.
Dude, I mean, as an IT person, like we have on-call days. Like what the heck? It's like
you get your butt up and you make a statement as the news comes out. Like I'm going to make a statement for this real quick. We're going to have an update for you. Like if he said this the second the news launched, like listen, we hear you guys. We're going to give you guys an update. We have this scheduled for this date. We will tell you everything we're planning right when the news broke. It's not making it like a ton better, but it's making it better. It is making it. Yeah. It's more. Yeah, you're still reacting.
You're at least having some control over how people read into it. Because literally, I mean, I cannot remember the last time. Maybe with the Star Wars Battlefront 1 thing, where just social media like became a clusterfuck of negativity or taunting from PlayStation fan or whatever. Where it's just like all over. People who weren't even into gaming were posting about stuff. It's like, what? Like, what's going on at Xbox? I don't know. So it's just really bad. I mean, the thing is, too, is like, that was the big rumor, right? But I've seen smaller rumors from other people that are saying stuff. Because then after Starfield, it was, God, what was his name? Tom or something like, he usually writes for Microsoft stuff. He's like, oh yeah, it's going to happen with Indiana Jones 2, by the way. Like a couple months later. I saw that too. You're right. Yeah. So it starts to get worse, right? It starts to get worse, and there's no messaging. And then I saw one rumor that it's like actually they're gonna nag on Game Pass with their first-party content offerings not being available day one with Game Pass titles, which that would be disastrous. Like that would be so fucking bad.
And that doesn't even track with everything else. That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make sense because you cannot make money off of these fucking games anymore when people can just sign up for $8 or $9, whatever it is, a month for Game Pass and play your AAA $200 million plus budgeted game because games aren't that long these days where you could just take 2, 3, 4 months to fucking play.
$15. Instead of spending 70, you spend 15.
Right. Yeah, the economies of scale do not work, right? Maybe if you had a user base of 1 billion Xbox users, yeah, probably maybe you could make money off of that. When you're trailing behind Xbox One, you cannot make that money back. And that's entirely what this conversation is about because it's crazy to think that the people that were rooting for the Activision Blizzard King acquisition are getting served this because I feel like it's like one of that meme, right? It's like, congratulations, you played yourself because it's like, oh shit, I guarantee you this is what happened, right? This is my prediction. I don't think we'll ever fully know about it until, we get somebody in like 5 or 10 years being like, yeah, this is what happened behind that.
Jason Schreier's book is coming though.
Yes.
That's about that, so we'll see.
Well, that's about Blizzard specifically.
Yeah, but I thought he's rewriting the ending. for this. So
No, he's rewriting
Go
it for the Microsoft part about how
yeah,
people are getting fired, but I don't think it's about
he's not going to cover
Microsoft.
Oh, okay. I thought he was going to cover the
Not a
ending with
deep
the
dive on
acquisitions.
Microsoft's
It's not a
end
deep
of
dive.
No, but I thought that's what he was rewriting that part to add some stuff from that.
I'm
sorry.
sure there's
I
going to be
mistook-
some
Sure, but
things in there.
he doesn't.
Yeah.
I guarantee he doesn't know anything right now.
Maybe.
Enough to put it
Go
in a
on.
book. It's unrelated.
Go on.
But I guarantee you, somebody, the shareholders or the executive board was like, we just spent how much money on Activision Blizzard King? And the answer is $70 billion, right? Which is like the largest acquisition in Microsoft history, right?
Mm-hmm.
About any other technology over any other property, whatever. Like, it's the biggest acquisition. Somebody's like, how do we make money off of that, right? How do we make money off of that?
Yeah.
Like, despite Call of Duty being a $2 billion annual franchise, every year, you're not making that in revenue, right? Because you invest in people, technology, etc., marketing. So maybe you see half of that or something like that. And I said this before, like they will never make money off of that. They will never make money off of the acquisition Blizzard King because it's $70 billion.
Maybe the thought is that's what I'm saying. Maybe that's why. Obviously, that's why they're going.
And
to
that's why it's happening because it's like we can't do this. These games are not going to support our ecosystem. Call of Duty alone would not be as popular as it was if they're like, oh, it's Xbox exclusive. I thought we all discussed this, and we're like, yeah, Call of Duty would have to scale down, right? And it is hard to put that back in the box once it's been unleashed. Imagine them being like, hey guys, actually Call of Duty, we're going to scale back. You're not going to have any more single player at all. The graphics aren't going to look as good. There's no cross-platform play with your friends anymore. You're back on the Xbox system. So if you want Call of Duty, get back on Xbox. People would be just like, all right, whatever. I'll play Battlefront then, or whatever the fuck EA comes out with, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Battlefield, thank you, or Apex or Overwatch or whatever it is. And I guarantee you, somebody pressured Satai and was like, dude, what the fuck? And they're like, okay, well, we need plans now because you cannot become the biggest publisher of video games and the biggest studio in terms of just sheer scope and size and expect to profit off of Xbox games. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, one console. No, and I always felt like some of the acquisition stuff that they're going through would be multi-platform, and they've done this with Minecraft before.
Right, absolutely.
But I think the bigger shock news came from the fact that like all these other games tacking on, like even like Indiana Jones. I saw Blade is probably multi-platform. I saw like a lot of this stuff, and then I think Halo being listed, Master Chief Collection.
100%.
I mean, like if you want to do Activision Blizzard games will be multi-platform, I get that. I get that part, but their first party games, that's where the betrayal would be more impact. I think that's where, like, what is the big deal? They come out and say, well, we're going to do, select Bethesda games and then Activision Blizzard games in multi-platform, which is what they said they were doing anyways in the court cases. They weren't going to make them exclusive, remember? So, is that the same thing? Is that fine? Yeah, and I think it is, but it's a matter of why do you need 2 weeks to tell us that news? Like, just come out and say it. Be like, no, this is, hey, we had this plan next week, but this came out, so let's get ahead of it. Let's do this. Let's do this now.
My guess on that part is they want to film something, whether it's like a mini direct or whatever. They want to tout, they want to bring somebody else in the company on stage and be like, hey, this is the new plans for Xbox going forward, and they haven't recorded it yet. That's my guess there. That's the only reason I could see them being like, wait next week because we got to finish filming, we got to finish.
Fly some actors in,
stuff like that. Because remember, Microsoft paid fucking good money to have that Indiana Jones exclusivity. So,
oh sure, yeah, absolutely.
And stuff like that, and it just doesn't work. And
well, they bought the company that's making it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you spend all this money, and I think too part of it absolutely had to deal with Starfield, where some fucking number crunching nerds were like, wait, we only sold X amount of copies of Starfield after buying Bethesda for.
And that's even like
10 billion or whatever it was. I forget.
But that was also talked about. Remember, Bethesda has a PS5 game ready for that.
Yeah,
they have a Starfield ready. So like that makes more sense to release Starfield multi-platform because it was mostly built already.
A lot of their stuff that they were working on multi-platform games before, so they were all.
I mean, they could take
works.
They could take Redfall, put it on PS5, right?
Yeah, they could have.
What a shit.
I mean, it probably would have been better for them.
It may have been. They would have gotten more sales, but again, there's the negative here is the community, the corporate side of it is only profits. That's it. Like, you're going to make money. They're going to make more money if they release games on multi systems. It's a given. You're going to make more money, and that's what they're seeing, absolutely. But there's a balance, and there's also respectfulness that you have from people that have bought your systems from like day one, that you've built as clients.
Absolutely. I mean, you're a prime example. You're the only one on this podcast that had the Xbox first.
Yeah. The Series X. Yeah,
the series. So
yeah.
The thing after this news, though, it's like, why bother being in the hardware space?
That's what we want to find out.
You're not, you're not making money on hardware, and so if you can't make money on hardware by selling software on your hardware that's exclusively on your hardware, what's the point of being in the hardware game?
And that's another reality. Is like, I said this in our Discord, but the next Xbox has to be in development at this point, right? Because it takes years for them to research.
So.
2026.
If you want to compete with Sony,
I saw 2026, was reported yesterday.
So we're getting an Xbox Series Pro or whatever the fuck it is at the end of the year, according to that leak, I think, or whatever like that. And I would imagine we see one more Xbox Series Z or whatever the fuck they're gonna call it, some bullshit name that doesn't make sense. But I honestly just see them being like, yeah, we're just not gonna do this anymore because it doesn't make sense. Because you can't profit. They are losing money on every Xbox sold, which they're not even selling out of, right? So it's like again, we just had reports where in December, Xbox was the worst selling system. Obviously, compared to PlayStation 5, that's bad. But Nintendo Switch, when it's on its 7th year, and it's on, like, everybody knows that there's a new Switch coming down the pipeline. Yep. It's like, what are you doing? Away. Plus, they had a $150 price cut on the Xbox. So I'm looking at it in my cart. I'm like, I can't even justify $300 purchase of a Series X because there's nothing I would do on it. Like, zero. Yeah. Absolutely. And that just gets worse now for people because why would you own a fucking Xbox?
Right. Yeah. Throw that $400-$300 towards a graphics card and you're good to go for much longer.
Did they give a date yet when they're doing this announcement?
No.
Jesus Christ. All right. So, yeah. I will tell you that the next console name will be the Xbox Series X1.
I mean, maybe. Like, who cares, though? Like, honestly, at this point, like, it just feels like this is a repeat of the whole Sega situation where they're going third party.
And I threw it up there in the Discord, but, like, since Phil's joined, like, everything they do has been a reaction to other things that have been going on. Like, nothing that they do has been proactive to push this industry forward that I can think of. Like, what can you think of?
I mean, Game Pass is a big thing.
Game Pass.
Is it a big thing?
I think it is.
Is it nobody else is copying? You already had, like, services like that?
I don't think so. Not at that scale.
I mean, you had OnLive before. There was a failure, sure, but I'm saying, like, it's not like it's new. It's not innovative. Netflix was doing it. I mean, as far as movies go, but I'm just saying,
Netflix
like,
is a totally different industry.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's not something that's new and different. I'm just saying it's a reaction. It's like, oh, hey, look at somebody else is doing something here. We could do that too. Maybe we can make it a little better.
I would say it's innovative to put your first party. I'm not saying it was smart. I'm saying it's innovative to put your first party games launch day on Game Pass.
Game Pass is all that there's going to be.
Nobody's done that before.
Of Microsoft in the gaming space, I think. That's what it seems like. The only thing that they're going to ever do is going forward is going to have this subscription service that they want to put in every other piece of hardware.
But who's going to take that?
Whether it's a PC, whether it's a PlayStation.
Sony's not taking Game Pass on their console. And then not only that, but then they might actually, because then they get 30% of the cut. Then Microsoft makes less money.
Once the hardware for Xbox goes away, what does Sony care?
I mean,
they would absolutely care, and I've talked about this before. Sony and Nintendo do not want their games being devalued. They don't want because they don't. Games? No. I'm talking about from a consumer level. They don't want people going, yeah, I could buy Last of Us Part 3 for $70, or I could sign up for Game Pass and play these other games that aren't as good, right? They're not as good, but I could play a bunch of them for a fraction of the price.
He's talking about without Microsoft for the console. What is it? What's the incentive for Sony to?
I just told you why Sony would not want Game Pass.
Forget Game Pass. He's not talking.
What are we talking about? Game Pass. What are we talking about?
No, I was Game Pass then.
Oh, you were. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about like just game releases and stuff like that.
No,
like
Sony wouldn't want that. They want you to pay fucking $70 goddamn US dollars for a fucking video game, and Game Pass goes directly against that. They don't want it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would have a service that is exactly like
exactly what I said. I said this a year ago. If Sony's number crunching nerds did the same thing, it was like, okay, If we do our own version of Game Pass and it'd be more profitable than just publishing and selling $70 video games, they would fucking do it. They would fucking do it. There's no reason that they wouldn't do it.
PlayStation Plus thing right now, it's still like a gimped version of like, oh, you can play these games.
You can play these old-ass games
or whatever.
And it's more expensive. Xbox was losing money on the Game Pass because they wanted people to get trained that, hey, this is how you play new Microsoft games. Just subscribe to Game Pass. That's why we're losing fucking money on it. Just like Netflix did initially when they started doing streaming. They lost money on it because they want to get you hooked. They want to get the user base up. Guess what hasn't grown since they fucking did Game Pass? The subscribers, the fucking users. They've capped. Xbox isn't selling any better than Xbox One, and it's down from fucking Xbox 360 where they were just selling $60 fucking video games.
They like I said, they've shot themselves in the foot from Xbox One, and Game Pass subscriptions have stalled.
Absolutely, and you fucking heard at the beginning of the generation how many times we hear about, oh, power of the cloud, power of the cloud, power of the cloud, power of the cloud. Nobody fucking gives a shit if they got the cloud.
Doesn't work good enough yet.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. Like, Microsoft is like, oh, we could be innovative with cloud because we already fucking offer those services because we're fucking Microsoft, but they can't think outside the box. How different would it be if the fucking Steam Deck was actually the Windows deck, right? Mm-hmm. Fucking Valve, who doesn't do shit with hardware other than like a failed fucking controller and a fucking thing that lets you stream games to your from your PC to fucking videos. TV. Why did they go and look at the Nintendo Switch and be like, what if we did this but for PC games?
Yeah. And
you would think Microsoft would... Things would be drastically different if they're like, oh, go Game Pass and you can play your fucking Xbox games on the go. But does that happen? Because they're not innovative. They're not forward-thinking like that.
On a handheld, yeah.
That's the rumor for the Xbox on 2026 is the hybrid system. So,
be reactive.
Yeah, it is reactive. I'm not defending. I'm just telling you that's the rumor. So, all right.
It's just it doesn't feel the same as Sega because you know that this is a giant company.
They're not close to folding.
Small and loose.
Yeah.
So it's just, and again, their whole argument during the acquisition is like, oh, we need to compete with Sony. Now they're getting out of the space that Sony is in. So, as from my perspective, I'm worried now that Sony is just going to do nothing, which they already are kind of doing. They have no competition in their space anymore.
No, well, Microsoft's issue is like they're just turning into a PC that doesn't do as much as a PC does, and that's all that they offer. And so, why would you ever buy an Xbox when you can just get a PC and have everything that the PC can offer you?
I don't know.
Plus,
that's Jim.
I don't want to use my PC. That's it.
No, it's not an argument anymore, Jim.
Jim, you were just saying how you couldn't get fucking Infinite Wealth on physical because they didn't have a copy of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you bought a digital code, which you install on an Xbox. Which is now in jeopardy, right? Nobody's fucking thinking, "Oh shit, Steam is gonna fucking pull the plug, and I'm not gonna be able to access this game." People are absolutely doing that right now with their fucking Microsoft catalog.
Yeah, I know. They're worried about that. You're right.
It's the PCs and Xbox and the Xbox. I feel like the PlayStation has separated itself a little bit. It's like this is still a gaming console. The Xbox has been trying to be a PC for the past 2 generations.
Yeah. Remember Kinect? Remember Kinect? What'd they fucking do with that? They love to tout these fucking new technologies that don't fucking matter. Remember the HoloLens? Jim, I remember that E3 that the fucking HoloLens was revealed, and you were like, this is going to change everything. I was like, what are you fucking talking about?
I wish you go back to that episode. I don't know about that, sir.
You were like, did you see that with the Minecraft example? I was like,
cool.
Yeah, that looks stupid. Who the fuck is going to care?
I mean, Apple Vision Pro is doing it right now.
It was cool. So it was very
before
cool.
Microsoft.
Fuck Apple.
Well, HoloLens has been out for a while, but more medical side. It's been in the medical field.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nothing on the gaming side. Just like
cloud.
But
it's amazing what it can do. It's just it doesn't.
Sure, but it's not a gaming technology. Just like fucking VR. I criticize Sony about VR too because it's just too soon.
I skip through that section of State of Play all the time. So, but yeah, I don't know. We'll hopefully have more news for you guys next episode, but we'll see.
It's the day that Microsoft died. Xbox died, I should say. Microsoft's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Microsoft's one of the biggest companies in the world. They can't even do what they're trying to do.
Yeah,
amazing.
Exactly.
We'll see. All right. that's gonna wrap up this episode, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, we're live on Twitch Tuesday nights. Please join us live, have conversations with us. All of our stuff is over on YouTube though, so you can subscribe to both channels and get notified when we go live, when we post. If you're watching this on YouTube though, guys, please smash that like button as well and leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you over there. Once again, we'll see you guys next week. See what's going on here. Hopefully we have more updates, and we're out.